Today it's not gonna be a kit, no instructions, just me, some paper, and some glove for classic aircrafts. And what is this aircraft? It's the Mk9 Spitfire. Today I'm gonna attempt to build it just from scratch, basically paper, and it's all gonna be trial and error and maybe a bit of madness, who knows. By grabbing some Spitfire references and images and figuring out the rough dimensions, I had to draw the exact blueprint since I needed dimensions. So since I'm not using a kit, I had to design every part, like wingspan, fuselage, curves, even where the places I just fold, all of that. See what I'm doing here. I'm just thinning a piece of cylinder so it should represent the shape of the exact fuselage. So taper one side of the cylinder and cut it off, and as you can see, in order to get the curved area under the Pratt & Whitney Rolls-Royce engine, I needed to add layers by layers in order to make the curved shape, since with paper you can't make that shape curves piece without layers. And I kept adding piece by piece, and finally, as you can see, after adding around 9 pieces, I gave it a quick shading, sort of like by pasting just a simple single layer of paper, so just to rub off the sharp edges, and that's how I do it. And next, what I'm doing is adding the cockpit. So the cockpit, it's just adding a small piece above it just to make it look the part of the Spitfire. That's all you need to do. And next, I'm going to be adding the exact pieces for, it's mainly the wings. But in order to make the wings, you need to make the template for the landing gear. And in order to make the template, you need to make the landing gear. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just making the wheel. So the wheel support is going to be after. So first of all, let's just make 2 wheels. So that's either side for the wings, left and right. That's the wheel support. That's added with the wheel support. Just 2 pieces of cylinders, small cylinders attached together. That's how you make it. And then to make the template, so I fold several layers of paper, so you get the template, and from one side just paste one paper, put your landing gear in, and make the template around it. Super easy, just like making a cube. So after that, you just slap on the landing gear template on the wing, if the wing in question, and actually add another wing around it. Just cut the shape for the template, and boom, you got 1 wing, 2 wings. That's done. It's hard, yes, it looks hard, and I had to rip this apart multiple times since I didn't get the exact shape. And it's, as you can see, even in the final model, it's not exactly the perfect shape, because one side of the wing is thicker, the other side is thinner, so it's not the exact thing. Initially I wanted to make it retractable, but if I did that, it's gonna be a hell of a nightmare. So instead I just kept it in one angle. As you can see now, I added the rudder and the rear ailerons, so those are done. So as you can see, the major part, just making the fuselage and the wings, is done. So next, what I'm doing is the rear wheel. So the rear wheel, the one that does not retract in the wings or the fuselage, that one. So that one is easy, the same process of making the bigger wheels, but we had to, instead of making the wheels first, I had to make the piece of wire that's attaching the wheel to the fuselage. That's the one. And then I added the antenna And normally in MK6s, you'd have the antenna having wires protruding towards the rudders, but not in the MK9. So next, I added the front cone part of the propeller. As you can see, I'm just showing you how I added the 4-piece propeller onto the nose, since unlike the other versions, the MK9 has 4 blades, propeller blades, and boom, that's done. I added the final parts for the exhaust on the engine, but as you can see, this is not the final product because I didn't actually made several errors on the exhausts. In the end, what I did was cut a tube in. I made 2 tubes, cut the tubes into 6 pieces, added it since it's a 6x6, and I flattened the edge where normally the tube or the exhaust comes out from the engine. So I nudged it inwards there, and as you can see, I added the final piece to the. As you can see, I added the machine guns to the end, and boom, that's that. And let's get right into painting. First of all, I need to map out the exact lines that separate the lower side, the upper side, and the upper side's 2 layers between the lesser sea green and the lesser sea blue and the dark forest green. So that's, and for that, with the X marks, I've added the dark forest green areas, and that's how we do it. And currently I'm just showing you the colors I'm going to use. So for this colors, I'm going to use the acrylic color since it's waterproof and painting or Chemifix glue is fine. So as you can see, I added the forest green, dark forest green, and the light sea blue, lightly blue, and the lower portion should be gray. It should be very light sea gray, but since I don't have that color palette in my possession, I just added silver. So, and in the rear there should be a strip, a white strip. So that's like, that white strip would be the first of all pieces, first sticker piece. And then as you can see, I am adding the wings, the stickers on the wings, the upper part and the lower wings. So that's the second part. And on the fuselage, the part near the tail, those 2 stickers, and finally the rudder stickers. So once that's done, I add the black paint, and I painted the front propeller cone, I painted the propellers, I painted the wheels, and after painting all those stuff, I added the details of using a pen. A ballpoint pen is perfectly fine to get the pieces, the wings, the details, the fuselage details. And I gave the cockpit a shine, I gave the numerical value, and yes, that's all. Want to see me try more builds, more World War II build,